Something big is happening right before our eyes here in 2023, and almost no one is talking about it. The moves that Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin are making will completely alter the international power structure and the monetary system. And the mainstream media is ignoring it. Washington is asleep at the wheel, dealing with all of the crybaby drama over a Chinese weather balloon, and now shooting down a UFO over Alaska this weekend. Yeah, that happened.
Another aircraft of some sort, airship, balloon, something was shot down today.
All of that is a distraction, pretending that this is a much bigger story than the decline of the US dollar. They're missing the real story. But very smart people that I trust are paying attention, and very smart multi-million-dollar investors that I've been speaking with, and over the past few days actually, know exactly what's coming. We're actually traveling right now with the family, and I was speaking to a couple of these multi-million-dollar investors, and they said, again, this is a distraction. Be concerned about what's happening with the US dollar. We were having coffee yesterday about this. This is the problem. People aren't paying attention to it. And the new monetary world order under Russian President Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping is unfolding exactly as we're predicting here on this channel, with a couple of major indicators in the US dollar decline. And real estate. So real estate, precious metals, all of that over the past few days, I want to talk about some of these big indicators. So I want to get into a lot of these stunning new pieces of news right now. But first, this week, we just had a bomb go off, and we knew this was coming, and Putin knew this was coming. Warmongers in Washington leaked information about the Nord Stream pipeline being destroyed by the United States. This is a big deal on a number of levels. First, it's an acknowledgement that the West is worried about the self-sufficiency of Russia and Europe collaborating. That Europe would be okay without America's ridiculously expensive natural gas resources. Second, it's an acknowledgement that the West fully wants to go to war with Russia in order to save what's left of a declining US dollar. So legendary investigative reporter Seymour Hersh published an article this week on how America blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. He first took this article to the New York Times and then to the New Yorker, for whom he worked for many years, and they said no, they couldn't publish it. He's a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist. His credentials are unimpeachable. The New Yorker and the New York Times said, sorry, we can't publish it. Why? Because they are corporate media compromised by the deep intelligence state. So instead, he published the story on his own Substack, detailing precisely how U.S. Navy divers carried out the largest eco-terror attack in the world. And the story is unbelievable, throwing Europe back into the energy stone ages. It's exactly what happened. The mainstream media is totally silent on this issue. But this was all planned, of course. Just listen to U.S. Navy SEAL admit how this was all planned. Watch.
Here's what you need to know about the Nord Stream pipeline and the article that came out saying that the United States is responsible for the sabotage of the Nord Stream pipeline. That's absolutely the case. I've known it for quite a while. The United States has denied it, but so most of you have known that that is the case. You've speculated that that is the case. I know it because I put in the Navy a couple of the gentlemen who were involved with it. The White House is denying it, but they are the ones who leaked it intentionally. Now, why? Well, because it puts Putin in a position where he must respond. Putin will respond in like kind, and then we will escalate.
So this is a desperate act by a desperate Western government in order to draw Putin into a full-blown war. And they're about to get their wish, although not in the way that they hoped. Russia isn't as stupid as the West. Russia knew this was coming and has called their bluff at every turn. So Russia doesn't want war with NATO any more than, China wants to invade the United States. There are some people that actually believe that's the case. But that's how the media are spinning this. The collective media last week declared a wayward weather balloon was a clear indication that China wants to invade the United States, or that Russia's invasion of Ukraine means that they want to keep going and just go and invade Canada next. Not true, that's a lie. China wants the United States out of the South China Sea. But instead, the U.S. just announced 5 new military bases are opening. I mean, just look at this map of U.S. military bases surrounding China. Do you think for a stinking second that the U.S. would allow China to build 40 military bases near the Gulf of Mexico? No way. And who is the aggressor here? I mean, we've all been lied to, guys. Russia has been also stopping a genocide in the Donbass region of eastern Ukraine that's been carried out for the last 9 years. And all of that was backed by NATO and a Ukrainian puppet government. It has nothing to do with invading the West. It has to do with stopping a genocide in eastern Ukraine, which is now Russia. The real story, though, of course, is not war. It's about money and the decline of the US dollar. That's why we on this channel always talk about tangible, real assets like real estate, gold, silver, commodities, things that you can actually hold, touch, and keep. These are things that have sustained for thousands of years despite governments collapsing, famine, and wars. Just last week, we got our biggest indication yet that the American dollar is in real trouble. And if you have your money tied to the US dollar instead of commodities, I would be worried, folks. Starting last month, listen to this. The Bureau of Labor Statistics has yet again changed how they calculate inflation. And it's going to make a lot of official numbers look a lot better. They're going to basically fake the numbers so that inflation looks better. So instead of fixing the inflation problem, they're just moving the goalposts to make it look better.
I'm still racking up like $200 bills, and yet I have like two meals to make for dinner.
I noticed the prices when I was at checkout. Prices were ridiculous.
Groceries are all up, gas is up, water bill, electric bill, everything.
This will make all that inflation you're still experiencing look significantly less by not comparing prices to 2020. Listen to this. When average inflation was at 1.24%, in 2021, inflation averaged about 4.69%, and then inflation jumped over 8% in 2022. So now, by not comparing it to 2020, this will make a lot of inflation go away. Poof! By official counts, the counts that are used to calculate things like Social Security costs and of living adjustments, all of that. So basically, by not comparing it to how you used to live, it makes everything seem like it's getting better. They are not. They're getting worse, and Washington knows that, and that's how they changed the formula. That's why they're trying to hide it from you. And that's why they're actively trying to draw Vladimir Putin into a bigger World War III. Since we can't beat them economically, we'll try to beat them militarily. Regime change. So on top of all of this, we saw gold prices hit a 6-month high, and bidding wars for real estate are happening again. Yes, that's right. In upstate New York, bidding wars are breaking out, despite higher interest rate. Yep, that's right. Bidding wars are back because the demand for real estate is off the charts. And what's not in demand right now is the US dollar in expanding economies. They're looking to the Chinese yuan and the Russian ruble instead of the US dollar. That's troubling. So what do you do if you're the West? You try to destabilize the enemy, right? Former discredited head of the CIA, David Petraeus, is being brought out now on television by the deep state to tell us about regime change in Russia. Take out Putin, they warned.
The other alternative, of course, is regime change. And that is so hard to calculate. And he has such a grip on power. But also, as you know from history, what is inconceivable all of a sudden can become inevitable.
Destabilizing Russia? By taking out Putin, we could reclaim valuable minerals and resources in eastern Ukraine. Territory that we have now lost. Resources that the United States is in desperate need of. In fact, Robert Gates and Condoleezza Rice just published an opinion piece in the Washington Post where they say time is running out for Ukraine. Time to send in more weapons, they say. And buried in their article, they specifically talk about, and here's the important section that Condoleezza briefly mentions, she specifically talks about minerals. She says, quote, "Meanwhile, although Ukraine's response to the invasion has been heroic and its military has performed brilliantly, the country's economy is in shambles. Millions of its people have fled. Its infrastructure is being destroyed. And much of its mineral wealth, industrial capacity, and considerable agricultural land are under Russian control." Oh, and the West doesn't like that. Are you ready for an expanded World War III? Because it's coming, and it may already be here in many ways. In other words, the United States doesn't have the minerals. It doesn't have the resources to compete any longer. And the only way to compete is to go to war with Russia over these resources. Those, my friends, are the major news items that I wanted to share with you today. Now I want to tell you about our sponsor for today's video, which is tied directly to the precious metals space, and their stock could explode in value over the next couple of years. They are Clarity Metals out of Canada, and what they are doing in the gold and lithium space is astonishing. I'm going to show you how they are positioned right now. This is a company that is in one of the hottest lithium mining camps in Canada right now. So just take a look at this map, and I'll explain why this is important. This is the Lithium 381 property in Quebec. This is one of the hottest lithium camps in the world. Now notice, I want you to pay attention, notice the other companies that are drilling at the very same spot. Alchem. Okay, Alchem is a $7 billion company that's drilling on this property. Okay, here's another one. Osaseko is a $1.3 billion company also drilling on this property. Patriot Metals is another $500 million company currently drilling on this very same 381 lithium property right now. And guess what? Patriot Metals just struck a lithium patch. Their stock shot up 200% as a result. If you've been paying attention to my channel for any length of time, you know that the important time to get in on some of these companies, these commodities companies, is before they announce drilling results, okay? Because what happens is once they announce drilling results, you see the stock shoot up like 100, 200, 300%. So all of those companies I just talked about are drilling in the same spot. And now the smallest company, the one I'm talking about today, Clarity Metals, is in that same mine drilling. Clarity Metals, they are a $5 million company drilling on the exact same property. So it's like being on the ground floor before the market explodes, before their stock shoots up in value. So this could be one of the best ground floor lithium plays in North America right now. Just to put a finer point on this for Clarity Metals, these other huge market cap companies are in the same camp as Clarity Metals. So it's a great risk reward opportunity. All of these other companies have analyzed this lithium 381 mining area and are targeting it to pull out lithium, and also gold, by the way. But this is why they are there. And Clarity is there as one of the smallest producers and has the biggest upside from a stock perspective. So Clarity's stock ticker is CLGCF. Here it is on the screen. And they are trading at just 17 cents a share right now. Now, the last time I told you about this company, a few weeks ago, near the holidays, they were trading at 11 cents a share. So they continue to go up and up nicely. Now, that's still off of their all-time high back in 2021 when they were trading at $1.20 a share. And then the entire stock market plummeted. $35 trillion in equities was wiped away. So this stock is poised for a big breakout. Now, just a few days ago, Clarity announced that they are advancing and doing their remote sensing work on this 381 lithium camp. This means the sensing work will allow them to identify possible lithium deposits and then start drilling in that area. And the great thing about this company is that they're not only a lithium producer, they're a gold producer. And with global demand for gold skyrocketing, they are actively exploring and mining in the Fectal project for gold, among other things right now. So this is a well-diversified company in the mineral sector, lithium and gold. I'm incredibly bullish on these projects that they have and the potential for this stock to explode. So again, I want you to do your due diligence on this. Take a look at their company. Here is their stock ticker on your screen again. It is CLGCF. And you'll need to use one of those bigger brokerages like E-Trade or TD Ameritrade to buy this stock. This is an OTC stock. So do your own due diligence on this company, guys. Look at their lithium and gold projects right now. Again, as of this recording, this stock is trading at 17 cents a share. That's over this weekend on Sunday. Again, a few weeks ago when I told you about it, it was 11 cents a share. So just track the trajectory, watch this company closely, and as they get ready to announce new drilling results, you could see this stock explode a couple 100% as we've seen with some of these other producers. Check them out. We'll have links to the description below. Go and do your own due diligence, and we'll see you next time, everyone.